I've been asked, and I'm really honored to having been asked to share 3 ideas. So these are my 3 ideas. The first one is that the secret of prosperity is social knowledge, not individual knowledge. And I'm amazed at how much this confusion dominates the discussion. The second idea is that the world is not made out of earth, water, air, and fire. It's made out of atoms. And I'll elaborate on that. And the third one is that chicken and egg problems slow us down and affect the paths that we can take. So those are my 3 ideas. So let me start with Harvard. Harvard was founded in 1636. That was before Descartes, before Newton, before Lavoisier, before Pasteur, before Gauss, before Einstein, before everybody, right? So in those days, we didn't have that much to teach, so we didn't need too many buildings. But over time, we had more and more to teach, so we needed more buildings and more buildings and more buildings. Okay, now in 1636, a college degree lasted 4 years. Now that we have so much more to teach, obviously people graduate a little bit later, right? No, a college degree still lasts 4 years. So how is it possible that having so much more to teach and not having more time to teach it in, how did the system adjust? And the system adjusted by inventing a bunch of majors. There's 50 plus majors here and a bunch of other majors at MIT that complement what we do here. So the idea is that as knowledge grows, you don't put more knowledge in every brain, you put different bits of knowledge in different brains. And it is the social brain that determines what's going to happen in the economy, not so much the individual brain. So if you ask in this picture, who has more knowledge? It's not at all obvious. The guy on the left, he knows how to take care of his own bulls, he makes his own tools, he makes his own fertilizer. The guy on the right is using a harvester he has no clue how to make, that uses gasoline he can't make, that uses genetically modified seeds that he doesn't know what that means. They uses fertilizer, he uses a bunch of things that he doesn't know how to do. So there's no practical way in which you can say that the guy on the right has more knowledge than the guy on the left. But it's obvious that the guy on the right is mobilizing dramatically more knowledge than the guy on the left. The guy on the right is mobilizing the knowledge in a huge network of people who know about completely different things, and he's bringing it together in the process of production. So it's interesting to ask how many people are involved in the production of something. So for example, this is a subsistence farming family in Ecuador. The family knows how to make these products. These are a bunch of family businesses, say the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker, right? But there's no family who knows how to make any of these products. And you might say that there's no country that knows how to make this product here. This is a 787. It's made in all of these geographies by all of these companies, because really the knowledge necessary to make a turbine and the knowledge necessary to make a landing gear and the knowledge necessary to make the carpets or the toilets are radically different bits of knowledge. So my point is that knowledge really that we use exists in a network. It doesn't exist in the individual, and we have missed that. As a consequence, we have developed a worldview that sees the world as composed out of earth, water, wind, or air and fire. Okay, and that is a simplified version of what economists think about. That the world is made out of a certain output, and this output comes from a black box that has technology, capital, labor, and human capital, and these are the essential, the quintessences of the neoclassical world. So if you ask yourself, if you divide everything by population, so this is GDP per capita, you have the black box, you have capital per capita, you have labor per capita, you have human capital per capita, and that's a description of the world that you make. And when you describe the world this way, you'll find that the world has been massively converging in capital per worker, in workers per capita, in education per capita. In all of these things, the world is massively converging, except that it is not converging in GDP per capita. So, the only way to make to make this explanation possible is to say that it is diverging in the other thing, in technology and something. But that adds no explanation to what the hell is happening here. So I think that just describing the world in these Greek ways doesn't get you very far. So an alternative way, and this is sort of like my evidence of that, this is a percentage of countries that have converged in these dimensions, and only 37% of countries have converged in GDP per capita. So this is the way the graph looks. The countries that have grown the most are in the top quintile. There's the yellow ones, and they are the only ones that have really significantly narrowed income gaps. The second has barely narrowed anything. The third quintile has lost, and the fourth and fifth quintiles have fallen behind by a lot. So I'm going to argue that the world is not made out of earth, water, wind, and fire. It's made out of atoms. Think of them as letters. And these letters actually combine into molecules, and they combine into macromolecules, they combine into cells, and they end up looking like this. Okay, so you build stuff, right, by combining it. And that's exactly the way I'm going to describe the world. I'm going to say that the world is made out of these letters, that these letters are not everywhere. They are in some places more than in other places, that places that have more letters can make more words, and products are just combinations of letters. To make products, you need to mobilize knowledge, and these letters are these units of knowledge. So there are some products that are longer, and they need more letters, and other products that are shorter, so they need fewer letters. So we can characterize a place by the endowment of letters that it has. We can characterize a product by the letters that it needs. And then we will find out that the places that have the requisite letters can make the products that these letter products require. And interestingly enough, in places that have more letters can make more words. Longer words are made in fewer places. So the top country makes all 5 products. The bottom country only makes 1. The top products are made by only 1 country. And the bottom product, hat, 3-letter word, is made by everybody. So what this tells us is that some places have many letters and they can make many things. Other places have fewer letters and they make not only fewer things, but things that everybody knows how to make. And that's more or less what we observe. We observe that the rich countries make many things and things that are done in few other places, and the poor countries make few things and things that are done everywhere. So now we're starting to understand maybe they differ in the letters. Maybe they differ in this other substance that was not highlighted there. So we can use this to figure out how many letters a place has, and we call that the economic complexity index, by just looking at what is it that you know how to do. And then we can ask ourselves the question, is what the letters that you have something to do with how rich you are? And we find that they do, that you have a positive regression there, R square of 0.73, it looks good. But even the countries that are not on the line, they're off the line, like India that I'm highlighting here. Well, India, you would say, it should be richer than it is. And you have countries like Greece. You'd say, Greece, how did you get to be so rich given how few letters you have, given how little you know? Well, guess what? This is with data from 2008. We know that since 2008, India has grown a lot and Greece has not. So in some sense, this captures more information than the current income of the country. It captures information about where the country is going, what the country is able to do. And now when we look back at these 5 quintiles that I showed you before on the left, and we calculate what happened to the letters that they have, only the top quintile really accumulated more letters. They learned how to make more things and more complicated things, and that's what's captured there. So the process of growth is this process of accumulating letters. My last idea is the idea of chicken and egg. Okay, that if you want to start making new things, you have to know how to make them, but you don't typically know how to make the things you don't make. So how do you start making things that you don't make? If to make them, you have to know how to make them, but you don't know how to make the things you don't make, right? So this, we think that it has to do with the following question, which is, which of this animal is out of the group, okay? And you can apply different theories, but if you apply this Scrabble theory, this letter theory that I'm explaining, you will realize that a zebra is just a bear with an extra Z. So the distance from bear to zebra is just one letter. The distance from bear to lion is 4 letters. Okay? So if there are these chicken and egg problems, there are fewer chicken and egg problems moving in some directions than moving in other directions. So we try to capture this idea by developing what we call the product space, where every product is just a word and it's connected to other products if they share many letters. So this gives us an idea of what is bear to zebra, things that are close here, and what is bear to lion, things that are far away here. And we can, now that we have this space of this dictionary, if you want, we can place countries in this place. So we put with colors places where countries have capabilities. This is my own country, Venezuela. If you look, this is Mexico. It's more colorful than Venezuela. It means that there are more letters in Mexico. Consequently, they can make more words. You might say, maybe it's because Mexico is a bigger country. No, because if I look at Austria, it's a smaller country, a country of barely less than 9 million people. They're even more colorful than Mexico. So it means that there is a fundamental difference in the number of letters places has, and that it might be easier to move from the letters, from the things you know how to do, to things that are one letter away. So if you want, you move parsimoniously in this space. And that's exactly what we find. We find that the closer a country is to a particular product, the more likely it is to move in that direction. So it gives us some orientation in the space of progress. We have applied this idea to other spaces, like, for example, occupation spaces. How likely is it that a person in some occupation will move to other occupations? It has to do with the similarity of the letters of the tasks that's involved. We do the same thing with industries. We do the same thing with technology classes and patent data. And it is a fact that you move more closely to things that are related in technology space and even in science space, that scientific publications are more that you move parsimoniously also in this space. So let me just finish by saying the secret of prosperity is social knowledge, not just individual knowledge, that the world is made out of these letters, not of these broad things, that we need to think about the accumulation of these letters, these quantums of knowledge, if you want, that get expressed in the things we produce. And finally, that chicken and egg problems tend to slow us down, and they define paths to prosperity. Thank you very much.